Welcome to the Social Security Birthday Tribute. 15 years ago, my organization, the 60 Plus Association, began this annual forum as a salute to seniors. To all you seniors watching and listening on TV or radio, I believe you will really benefit from today's program. And so will you soon-to-be seniors, you baby boomers, and you younger generations, our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. I believe you're in for a treat. But before I turn to the most distinguished panel I believe we have ever assembled, allow me to make a couple of observations. I say this as I enter my 50th year here in Washington, coming here in 1962 as a young reporter covering Congress, working in this very building, the National Press Club. Social Security was 76 years old Sunday, August 14th. Passed on that date in 1935 by Congress and signed into law by President Roosevelt. You know, for its first 25 years or so, the system experienced few growing pains. It was a healthy and vibrant financial benefit for retirees. But after leaving its teen years and aging into its 40s and 50s and beyond, Social Security began showing some wear and tear. But who among us doesn't at age 76, or in my case, 75? I believe almost everybody agrees that some Social Security reform is needed. I emphasize reform, not political one-upmanship, to curry favor with that most powerful voting bloc, senior citizens. Social Security has served seniors very well. It's kept millions of our most vulnerable out of poverty. My favorite senior, my mom, depended on her check, and her sister, my Aunt Stacia White, would have celebrated her 99th birthday August 14th. Her son, my cousin, former Kentucky State Senator Ray White, turned 76 this week. And their surviving sister, Aunt Rita Larson, lives down in Okeechobee, Florida. She celebrates her 84th. And by the way, I don't want to leave him out, our national spokesman, legendary recording artist Pat Boone, is age 77. He's still singing at concerts. So seniors have paid their dues, and while the system needs reforming, seniors are entitled to solutions, not political potshots. They deserve better. After all, a system that started as a 2% tax on $3,000 in income has grown to 12.4% tax on as much as $106,800. You know, from $60 annually, that's only $5 a month. Yes, I did the calculation on a computer, but to be sure, I also did the math with an old-fashioned pencil as a former reporter, and believe it or not, $5 a month back in 1935 is now as much as $13,000 annually. That's a whopping $1,100 and change per month. So why isn't it a gold mine for seniors? Two reasons, actually three. Number one, lower rates of birth mean fewer workers paying in. Number two, living longer. Yes, we are, into our 70s, 80s, 90s, and beyond. You know, as one observer put it rather indelicately, I thought, seniors no longer, quote, conveniently die, unquote, at the actuarial age of 65. Our 60-plus honorary chairman, former Congressman Roger Zion, now nearing 90, living with his wife Marjorie in Evansville, Indiana, Roger eloquently states that he's been, quote, statistically dead for 25 years. That puts a pretty big financial strain on the system. In fact, the first recipient of a monthly check, Ida Mae Fuller, is a perfect example of why the system is in some financial straits. She paid in less than $25 before retiring, but instead of conveniently dying at age 65, this retired school teacher lived to 100, and for her investment of $25, she was paid nearly $23,000 from Social Security. That's a whopping 92,000% return on her investment. By the way, incidentally, a Cleveland, Ohio man, Ernest Ackerman, actually retired the day after the system became law. He paid in a nickel. He got one check back for 17 cents. Hey, that was a 340% return on his investment. Number three, and finally, little discussed in Congress, is the Social Security Trust Fund. It's bulging with over $2.5 trillion surpluses that are being paid in by current and future seniors. But one of Washington's dirty little secrets, the fund is broke. The trust fund is the favorite cash cow of, surprise, surprise, Congress. I like to quote Democrats and Republicans alike, and I would say right here, two former senators, the late Senator John Heinz, Republican of Pennsylvania, and Senator Fritz Hollings, former Senator Hollings from South Carolina, they held a press conference a few years ago, and they said, if private businesses did what we do here in Congress, stealing from this trust fund, they'd be locked up for embezzlement. That's probably correct. Look, enough about the system's problems. There are solutions galore offered by all manner of experts. I guarantee you that the two people we're privileged to have with us, they'll offer straightforward, practical solutions. Unfortunately, Social Security solutions often run into a political buzzsaw on Capitol Hill. You know, nowadays, signing pledges seems to be standard operating procedure in Washington. Perhaps we'll need to present a pledge to be signed by Congress that seniors will no longer be used as political pawns on Capitol Hill, so reform can be accomplished. Now to our distinguished panel. First of all, Jared Bernstein is a senior fellow at the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. From 2009 to 2011, Dr. Bernstein served as chief economist and economic advisor to Vice President Joe Biden. He was also executive director of the White House Task Force on the Middle Class, and he was a member of President Obama's economic team. Prior to joining the Obama administration, Dr. Bernstein was a senior economist at the Economic Policy Institute here in Washington. And during the administration of President Clinton, he held the post of deputy chief economist at the U.S. Department of Labor. Dr. Bernstein is the author and co-author of numerous books, point out for both popular and academic audiences. He's been published extensively in various venues, the New York Times, the Post, the Financial Times, and others. He's also a commentator for CNBC and MSNBC, and he hosts the popular economics blog, jaredbernsteinblog.com. Dr. Bernstein, holds a PhD from Columbia University. I'll give you Jared Bernstein.